Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Napoleon, and today we're back with another Enlisted video. This video we're going to be talking about the top 5 most interesting ways to level up. Unlike my last video, the top 5 best ways to level up, this video will be compiling some of the most interesting ways that are going to help you level up. But that said, this video has been made possible for your friends at Discord, meaning that if you haven't liked, subscribed, or joined the Discord, I highly suggest that you do. But that said, let's get started. Before we start, this video is essentially about some of the better ways to level up, but because they are very situational and I really didn't believe these are the best ways to level up, I piled these into a separate video and just called it that. But that said, let's get started. In 5th place, we have melee kills. Now, before I even get started, I'm not talking about melee kills with actually using a knife. I'm talking about melee kills using anything that is a weapon. For example, the number 1 spot is swords and stuff, which are very interesting in getting you melee kills because they are technically like a knife but just longer. The other thing that I really like to use in most cases is a bayonet. Now, usually I use a bayonet to get speed, but if I'm out of ammo and there's an enemy right in front of me, guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna stab him to death. And the third option, of course, you can just use a knife, and in my particular case, I bring out an axe, which is very interesting. So, number 5, melee kills, and as you can already see off the bat, this is a very interesting list. Number 2, we have the mortar squads. Now, this is extremely situational because you have to be on the attacking side, and for anyone that knows what I'm going to be saying, you know what I'm talking about. So for a mortar squad, all you have to do is deploy the mortar once you start battle, and usually what would happen is that the mortar squad, if you're on the attacking side, everyone will be forced to start on the cap. All you have to do in that case is to deploy a mortar squad and immediately start firing on the cap. That way you get around at least 10 kills, if not kill the entire team just in few seconds. Well, not a few seconds because the mortars have to run, but I guess you guys know what I'm talking about. Mortar squad is very situational. Like I said, you essentially have to start on the attacking side and you have to literally get at the mortar squad, start firing at it. But other than that, I figured out the mortar squad is quite useless, so I almost never use the mortar squad. But that said, next up we have the flamethrower squad. In number 3, we have the flamethrower squad. And the flamethrower squad is the most interesting out of all of these because you can get a lot of kills, but like the mortar squad, you just have to be very close to the enemy, or at least close enough. And usually you can rack a lot of kills with the flamethrower. I personally would rack actually a lot of kills with the flamethrower. So yeah, that's that. And then, yeah, like I said, flamethrower is also very situational. Next up, you have somewhat a less situational equipment, but it's still very situational. That is, if you can get into throwing range, and that is using a phosphorus grenade. Now, this is absolutely my personal favorite. I even made a video about this. If you guys haven't watched it, I highly suggest that you do. But basically, you just have to pull out phosphorus grenades, give your guys large ammo pouches with, to be exact, large grenade pouches, and put as many phosphorus grenades as you can on the dudes. Go out to battle and start throwing phosphorus grenades, preferably if you're on the attacking side, but you can also do it if you're on the defending side. But that said, phosphorus grenades are a assured way to not only get kills, but to deny the enemy the base capture, or in some ways to clear out the enemy faster. So phosphorus grenades is a better way. Of course, they have been debuffed, but still they do a lot of damage. And the number 1 absolute most best way to get kills, and that is using the HMG. Like I said, HMGs are very deadly, they can literally destroy a lot of enemies really quick, really fast, especially in your campaigns like Moscow, Normandy, the Pacific, and Tunisia. Obviously, all these are early war campaigns, and if you are in a campaign such as Berlin, you are somewhat more vulnerable, but if you know how to place the heavy machine gun, then you know what you're doing. Like I said, with this list, it has to do a lot with the situation, and that is, in this situation, if the HMG is literally someone gets killed, or your engineer dies, then you're kind of done for. And if you cannot put the HMG fast enough, then you're also dead. Not to mention the fact that if the enemy team is very good, they take out the HMG very fast, so that's going to be very interesting. But that said, this is my list for the top 5 most interesting ways to get XP. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join the Discord, and I'll see you in the next one.